Hey guys, today we're going to be comparing a couple of different bags from Knack. And in general, I am a big fan of expandable and compressible bags. I actually did a roundup pretty recently on some of my favorite expandable bags for 2023. And it's a style that I really like because of the flexibility that it provides. You can use one bag for travel and then compress it down when you arrive at your destination. Use it for your day-to-day so you can avoid carrying multiple bags, which I'm always a fan of. And Knack is one of the companies that I think does this really well. We featured a couple of their bags on the channel over the years. They've continued to expand their product line. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the similarities and differences between the models that I've had a chance to test out in case you're in the market for one of these bags but are a little bit unsure which one would be best for you depending on your needs. So excited to walk through them. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Before jumping in, the first thing that I wanted to call out is the actual models that I'll be walking through in this video. So I'm going to be comparing the Series 1 medium expandable Knack Pack, the Series 2 medium expandable, and then the Convertible Duffel. The Series 1 and Series 2 bags are offered in a large version. So if you need a little bit more space than the ones featured here, that's something to keep in mind. And the Series 1 is actually offered in a small version as well. So to me, the medium versions are kind of a perfect in-between for my size and what I typically like to carry. I'll talk a little bit more about the actual capacities of each of these bags in a minute, but I just wanted to clarify the models that I'd be covering. I know that Knack also has an expandable sling. Not going to be covering that in this video, so just focusing on these. Starting off with the aesthetic and the materials, the look of the bags is pretty similar in that they all have a more professional and modern vibe. It's pretty work appropriate bag in my opinion. That's one of the things that's always stood out to me, particularly when I need to travel for work. This is one of the first bags that I go to because it looks a little bit more like something that would go with a nicer outfit without feeling overwhelmingly fashionable or something that would be out of place for walking around the city. These aren't bags that I would necessarily take into the outdoors, but it's a pretty versatile look in my opinion. They all kind of have an interesting, similar, distinct shape, but there are differences in the aesthetics of each of them. So starting off with the Series 1 and Series 2, the Series 2 has got a little bit of a cleaner aesthetic than the original version. This one has some extra pocketing. The logo is a little bit higher on the front, whereas the Series 2 has this really clean exterior on the front. It also has some leather or vegan leather accenting on the bottom and on the handles to just give it a slightly more premium or upgraded feel, I guess. So your mileage may vary depending on your particular preferences. And then the Convertible Duffel is going to have the most minimal look out of all of them. There's just not really much happening on the front at all, but it still feels like a bag that's part of the same family, so to speak. So I think all of them work great. I like how they look. Which one is best for you? Well, again, just depend on what sort of aesthetic you really prefer. The fabrics here are also pretty similar. Knack has their nylon that they've used across their bags that's going to offer a decent amount of abrasion resistance, weather resistance. It manages to keep the weight of the bags fairly low. I mean, these bags have a lot of pockets and features, but it never feels like when they're empty they're overwhelmingly heavy, at least in my opinion. They all have YKK zippers that have reverse coils, and they have custom Knack zipper pulls, which are pretty interesting. And then continuing along the outside of the bags, all of them have a handle at the top that has a pretty similar design as far as the amount of padding that it has. It's a pretty soft, comfortable padding. It's got kind of a breathable fabric on the inside. The Series 1 is the only one that does not have a handle on the side, which I was very sad to see when it first came out. That still hasn't changed here, so you can't carry this like a briefcase, which would have been a nice bonus and might be something to keep in mind if you're unsure which model to get. No side handle, but the Series 2 does in fact have one, and so does the Convertible Duffel. So nice bit of extra functionality there. All of them have this sort of internal or hidden water bottle pocket. It's not an external water bottle pocket in the traditional sense where it's kind of accessible from the outside, but it does have a zipper that opens up and provides enough volume for a water bottle. All of them have that same layout. So I am always a fan of this style of water bottle pocket, even though it does end up taking some space from the inside. I like that it can function as a normal pocket. If you're not carrying a water bottle, you could put an umbrella or tech items in there. To me, it just feels like it gives you an extra pocket to use, whether you want to use it for your water bottle or something else, which is really nice. As far as the sizing, when they're compressed down, the Series 2 medium Knack Pack and the Convertible Duffel both come in at about 24 liters. The Convertible Duffel holds its shape a little bit better when it's emptier, so even when it's compressed down like this, it still looks a little bit larger than the Series 2, which if it's empty, it really looks empty, but it can expand out a little bit more, even when it's compressed, so that it matches the size. And to me, 24 liters is the size that I normally like to use. I call this out in a lot of videos. I feel like it gives me enough space for my day-to-day with a little bit of leftover without feeling overwhelmingly big. It matches my height pretty well. I come in at 5'11". And then the Series 1 is gonna be a little bit bigger when it's not expanded out. Comes in at 27 liters. So feels a little bit bulkier and like it's gonna be a little bit more space, but still something that I find very manageable for my day-to-day. And then, of course, these being Knack Packs, they all expand out to a larger volume. They have the hidden zipper that is kind of underneath a flap on the bag. It goes all the way around. And then this is what helps you use them for travel whenever you need to. And when they're expanded out, the Series 1 is gonna reach a volume of about 39 liters. The Series 2 is gonna reach a volume of about 35 liters, so it doesn't get quite as big as that one. And then the Convertible Duffel gets all the way up to 40 liters. So it's gonna give you just a smidge more space than the other two, which comes down to the simpler layout that this has, at least in my opinion. I'll talk a little bit more about that layout as we get further into the video. But at 35 to 40 liters, all of them offer enough space to be used for at least a week of travel for the way that I typically pack, maybe a little bit longer if you manage to pack a little bit more minimally. But that expansion is pretty large and is what helps make the bag so flexible. So you can toss in some packing cubes, maybe an extra pair of shoes, and then just get from your airplane to your Uber or your bus to the train, back to the hotel, take all your stuff out, compress it down, and you're good to go, whether you're going into meetings or just exploring the city. Moving into the harness systems, this is an area where the bags are pretty similar. Knack isn't well known for offering a super robust harness system, but in my opinion, they strike a good balance between offering enough comfort while still maintaining the ability to hide the straps away, as that is a feature that's present on all three of the bags. You have these metallic carabiner clips at the bottom that you can hide away and give the bag a cleaner look. Also works well if you're gonna be carrying it like a briefcase for the Convertible Duffel or the Series 2. So nice flexibility there. That keeps the straps a little bit thinner and easy to tuck away, but they still have a pretty good amount of padding and they're breathable. They have an air mesh on the straps. They all include a removable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. And then the back panel on all of these has this sort of gel-like padding here. It's a really soft foam that I think feels nice. It's not quite as breathable as the straps, but you do have the Knack logo here, which also creates some air channels to provide you with some ventilation and airflow. So overall, to me, I think it does a pretty good job. I haven't noticed any large issues while wearing it. It just doesn't have as much support as a more full-fledged travel backpack like the Air Travel Pack 3 or some of Tortuga's bags. And then another nice feature that's on all of the bags is a luggage pass-through so that you can rest this on a suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, this is where you'll notice the biggest differences between the three models. Besides the water bottle pocket, which they all have, they all also have an externally accessible laptop compartment that has a vertically oriented zipper on the back. So you'll be able to get to your laptop easily while you're going through the airport, through TSA, or when you arrive at your destination. They all have a pretty big opening, so it'll be able to fit a 15 or 16-inch laptop comfortably. The laptop compartment has a similar layout, so it's all the same amount of padding. It's not the most suspended compartment. That's one of the things that I've noticed about their bags. I do wish that it was pulled up just a little bit more, but overall, it does feel like it's gonna offer a decent amount of protection for your devices, and again, just make it easy to grab it while you're on the go. As far as quick access options, the Convertible Duffel is definitely going to be the most limited. There's really not a whole lot going on the outside besides the laptop compartment and the water bottle pocket. Everything is contained into the main area. And so looking at the Series 1 and Series 2, I've always been a fan of the layout of the Series 1 Knack Pack because it has quick access pocket at the top, which has got a soft fleece lining, a little divider as well, so it could be a good spot to toss in your phone, some sunglasses, reading glasses. It's a perfect spot for, you know, anything that's in my pockets while going through TSA. I'm a big fan of this style of pocket. I was kind of sad that it was removed, or at least changed, in the Series 2. The Series 1 also has the unique triangle compartment that has this sort of flap here that again has some internal organization. It's going to be a good spot for cables, other small things that you might want to grab. One of the things about this pocket is that it's not the most secure. There is no way to actually lock this. So I know there were some concerns when this was first released, but you know, I generally wouldn't have anything super sensitive in there anyway. And then at the bottom you have yet another zippered pocket that is going to be a good spot for a laptop charger, a jacket, you know, bulkier items. It does take up a little bit of space from the main compartment, but I like that there's all these different options for accessing your stuff. This one also has some elastic bands on the flap that'll be a good spot for dongles or cables. And then the Series 2 placed more of a focus on security. Because all of these are actually quick access pockets that you can get to without any sort of a lock, this one consolidated a lot of that inside of this front admin compartment and put it behind a lockable zipper. So it still opens up pretty wide. So you have a lot of internal organization, but it's just in this larger area. You have a compartment that goes all the way down to the bottom. So you do have some space to, you know, toss in a pouch, hat, gloves, jacket, larger headphones, a lot of space down here at the bottom. And then you have a flap, you know, a slip pocket here, which might be a good spot for folders, books. On the flap of this compartment, you have a zippered, almost quick access pocket. Since it's near the top, you can reach down and grab your cables, other EDC items. And then on the back of the compartment, you have some elastic bands, good spots for pen, stylus, dongles. So this is sort of like the elastic bands that were in the bottom compartment of the Series 1. You have a couple of slip pockets here, then another larger slip pocket for cables, chargers, and then at the back you have a soft fleece lined pocket similar to the one on the Series 1 that would be a good spot for your phone or your sunglasses. Maybe not quite as big, it doesn't have the same divider, and it is, you know, contained within this larger area, but you can see that they tried to bring over some of the same functionality and just put it here in this locked compartment. So if security is a really important concern to you, then that's something that you want to keep in mind between the Series 1 and the Series 2. And then they both have a main compartment that, you know, it's kind of a traditional backpack compartment. So it's a top loading area that is gonna, you know, be able to hold the EDC items that you need to carry with you. So this is where I would put some of my organizer pouches, my tablet, folder, my standing desk. And I just really like the amount of space that's offered in this daily portion of the bag. Even when it's compressed down, there's a good amount of volume here so that it's a capable day bag. The Series 1 has a gusset on this compartment, so prevents it from opening up quite as wide, whereas the Series 2, you can really kind of almost go all the way down. And on the back of both of the bags, you have some additional internal organization. You have a larger mesh zippered pocket here. Then you have a sleeve near the bottom that's meant to be for a tablet. It's got a soft lining on the inside, another zippered compartment, and then one on the front as well. So lots of internal organization in the Series 2. The Series 1 is pretty much the same thing. So again, mesh zippered pocket here, cables, dongles. I like that all the mesh is clearly see-through, so you easily have visibility into everything that you want to reach. And then you have the same tablet sleeve with the soft lining. So both of them are pretty similar as far as the main compartment. Not a huge difference there. The one that's kind of the outlier is the Convertible Duffel, which this is just one big area. The travel and this sort of EDC focused area are consolidated into one kind of big bucket of space. This is a full clamshell style opening on the Convertible Duffel, and on the flap they've tried to add some of that same organization that's present in the Series 1 and in the Series 2. So you have some elastic bands at the top, zippered compartment with a soft lining. So this is kind of the quick access area when the bag is closed. Another larger mesh compartment, lanyard with a keychain loop that's also removable. This is actually on all 3 bags, which is a nice feature. Then you have that same style tablet sleeve with the soft lining. And then the main compartment. One thing about the convertible duffel is that it also includes a shoulder strap, hence the convertible name. So you can actually wear it, the shoulder bag, you can sling it across your back, in addition to being able to use it as a backpack. And then another unique thing about this one, because the travel section and the daily section are in just one compartment, what they've done is they've actually updated the layout of the divider in this compartment. All the bags have a divider in their travel section, but this one also includes some additional organization, zippered compartment, a couple of elastic bands, and then it has these plastic clips that allow you to use it as a way to compress all of your travel stuff down, or it just kind of lays flat against the back if you want to use this only for your EDC items. So a little bit more of a streamlined layout. Might not be for everybody if you like to have a clear separation between your travel stuff and your daily stuff, but an interesting idea that does give you a little bit more space, seeing as this one expands all the way out to 40 liters. And speaking of that expansion, I'll go ahead and expand the bag so that we can get a better sense of what it's like to actually use these as travel bags in addition to daily bags. So going from 24 to 40 liters with the convertible duffel, you can see how much expandability is provided there. And so you have the divider on the inside that you can lift up, put all of your packing cubes in the bottom, and then you can rest your EDC items on top. So a little bit harder to kind of navigate everything, but it all fits in there. And then when you can close it down, you can really hold a ton of stuff. If you want to see all the different ways that I've loaded all of these out, I'll link to the dedicated videos in the description below. Then the Series 2, again, is probably the smallest when it's expanded out, goes to 35 liters. And one thing that's a little bit different about the expandable Knack Packs versus the convertible duffel is that these actually have more of a suitcase style opening versus a clamshell opening. So the clamshell opens flat, whereas the suitcase opens kind of like a book. So this reminds me a little bit more of a traditional suitcase. Both ways can be very effective depending on your preferences. I generally like clamshell a little bit more, but in this case, I think it works just fine. You have a zippered compartment on the flap of the travel section that actually has a pretty good amount of volume. So this could be an additional almost packing cube or an area to separate clothes, jacket, toiletries. And then inside of this compartment, you have a flap with a plastic clip similar to the duffel, which is going to be a place where you can secure your clothes, packing cubes, just tighten everything down to conserve space, prevent it from shifting around. Then you can close it up. You have your 35-liter travel bag for while you're on the road, and then when you arrive, zip it down. It can go back to 24 liters. Same thing for the Series 1. It has a suitcase style opening as well. So again, like a book, it opens up and you have the same style strap, zippered pocket on the flap. And yeah, it's a layout that I've now been using for a couple of years now, over a few different iterations of the Knack Packs. I've tried the different sizes. I always come back to the medium as sort of my favorite. And any of these is gonna be a really great option if you're looking for something that's a little bit more professional and that's gonna give you the flexibility of expanding and compressing. And as mentioned a few times during the video, the big differences will come to the aesthetic and the organizational layout that you prefer. If you like something that has the most organization, Series 1 is still probably gonna be the best option. If you're looking for a more modern, stylish, and also secure bag, then the Series 2 is going to be the best option. And if you're looking for the most space and a more simple layout, then the convertible duffel may be the way to go. As far as the pricing, they're pretty close. The convertible duffel is going to be the most expensive, coming in at about $275. The Series 2 comes in at around $265, and then I believe Series 1 is $235 or $245. I'll include the information here on the screen. So pretty close in pricing. All of them are not the cheap bags by any means, but you do get a lot of value for the price point. If you're looking to save a little bit of money, you can lean towards the Series 1. There's also going to be some price differences depending on the sizes. If you get the large versions of some of these bags, it might be a little bit more. But in general, it's competitive with a lot of the other similar bags in this range. And if you're looking for something expandable that's gonna be versatile and look great, then any of these is really gonna be a good option to take a look at. And so that's it. Those are some of the similarities and differences between the Knack Pack Series 1, 2, and the Convertible Duffel. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions on the bags that I featured in this video or suggestions for similar items that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I'll make sure to include links in the description below to the dedicated reviews that I've done for each of these bags, as well as to some of the other roundup videos that I've done where I talk about my favorite minimal travel bags, larger travel bags, some of my favorite EDC bags, if you want to check those out. And if you have ideas for other roundup videos that might be cool to do, definitely let me know. And I want to go ahead and thank Knack for sending the bags for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.